Lucid for life.
Welcome everyone to Lucid for Life. I am excited, David's excited, you're excited, so let's get this shit on.
Oh my goodness. I'm excited about stabilization, man. This is like my stepping stone right here, man, is I finally learned how to stabilize in lucid dreams. And it's almost embarrassing to say because I've been doing this for over 3 years now. And it just shows you all the practice and effort going into it, you know. And stabilization is just a great feat to get over, you know. It's like once you finally do it and you learn how to stabilize, it just makes you feel so much more comfortable when you're in that situation. You know you're going to be here for a little bit longer than 5 or 6 seconds, you know.
Right. Well, I think it just comes down to curbing your excitement a little bit and just trying to be chill.
Yeah, getting used to the environment.
Yeah.
It's like any situation, really.
Yeah.
But I heard, a little birdie told me, that you're kicking ass at lucid dreaming. I imagine you got a few stories to share, my friend.
Oh, well, I mean, it's not as much as I'd like to, but yeah, I've had quite a few, I guess, since the last podcast.
I hate when you say that, too. Like, not as many as I'd like to, and you've gotten, like, 30 more lucid dreams than I have in the past month, you know? It's like, come on, man. You kidding me?
Yeah, I just have... I guess I haven't reached my personal goal yet, but...
Yeah. Well, we are lucid for life. We got the rest of our life, man. I want to be able to get sweet at this when I'm, 50, 60 years old and I'm hurting because I've been busting my butt for retirement. Now I can sit back, close my eyes, and go wherever I want, you know.
Right.
That's where I want to be, you know. It's like making an investment for later retirement, you know.
Well, I guess we could go ahead and get into how to stabilize once you're lucid.
Sweet. Yeah, there's a lot of different techniques. If you don't mind me starting, Mike, I'll tell my biggest trick on stabilization is just relaxing and counting. Now there's plenty of them, you know. People stare at certain things or some people, well, I guess it's not really stabilization, but it keeps you in the dream and spinning. Obviously, a lot of people learn that in the beginning. But mine is just doing my breathing reps, making sure I'm taking deep breaths and I'm counting out loud. And as I just relax with each breath, it takes me further and further into stabilization, and I anchor myself into that dream. And then from there, I practice control. But it's all about the stabilization.
So when you just focus more on your breaths, I guess.
Yeah. Well, I guess the very first time I did it, I was focusing on my breath and focusing on a key point out in front of me. So I guess I was doing a bit of staring or focusing, as you will, while I'm breathing like that, and that seemed to really help. But it really grew my confidence level in there because when I was counting, it made me more and more confident as well that I wasn't going to lose lucidity or that I wasn't going to have a false awakening or even a premature awakening, you know?
Yeah. Well, that's kind of like, I guess another technique is staring at your hands.
Yeah.
Or really just, you could focus on like any dream object and it kind of has the same effect, but the reason why your hands is so handy is because usually, I guess you're used to having, your body available. So when you're in your dream body, maybe the dream has destabilized and you're just kind of floating in what I call the void, or it's just black,
The horrible void, Mike.
So, I mean, your hands are always going to be available. That's the whole point of that one, I guess.
Right. Yeah, I had one where I tried to stare at my hand, and it was really cool. But just like in quite a few beginning lucid dreams, or when you're a kid, you wake yourself up out of them. I was staring at my hand to try and stabilize it, and I just stared and stared and stared, and my focus just, I was looking at this little hole that was in my hand. It was like a little flesh wound, like I snagged myself on some barbed wire or something. and I looked, and as I focused and I stared at that part on my hand, it zoomed in and actually went into the flesh, and to the point where I was like, instead of going with it and trying to remain conscious of what was going on, it actually made me a little uncomfortable. And I was like, no, I just want to stare at my hand to stabilize. And I tried to zoom out, you know. And as I zoomed out, it was like I was breaking my attention, you know, breaking my focus instead of trying to just roll with it. So I think that brings up another stabilization trick, is just rolling with it and not trying to implement any force or control right in the beginning.
Right. Yeah, because that could have turned into like a whole nother dream scene for you.
Oh, yeah. It'd have been Osmosis Jones, you know? I'd have been fighting bacteria off and stuff.
Yeah, and I think that's a mistake a lot of people make is, I guess you're trying to control too much, too fast, I guess. Right. It's like you're getting kind of sucked in another direction, and sometimes it's better just to roll with it.
Yeah.
But when you do that, it's also easy to lose lucidity, too.
Yeah, so it's such a slippery slope.
Yeah, it's kind of just that maintaining that middle ground. Well, what's another way to stabilize?
Well, just like the staring at the hands, I heard that there, you know, some people stare at their feet too. But like you said, it's it's readily available. You know, I watched. Yeah, it was a younger girl that was on YouTube. That's how she said she did it. When she realized she was dreaming, she would just stare at her feet until she felt comfortable enough with her surroundings, or whatever surroundings she was in, to carry on with the dream. I thought that was interesting because, you know, it's just different, I guess, in a sense.
There's also verbal commands you could try.
I forgot about those.
Yeah, I haven't had a whole lot of luck with that, but
neither have I.
I mean, I've tried it a few times, like to clear up my vision or whatever, and I've had very mild success. But
so you would say out loud, like,
yeah.
What would you say?
Oh, like increase stability or focus,
increase clarity or something,
whatever you want. Yeah.
Okay.
You kind of command in a dream to do what you say, I guess.
Okay. Yeah, I remember I've tried actually this twice, and both times it was like my tongue was swelled and I couldn't speak, and then I would try to scream and I would get so frustrated I would end up waking up.
Oh yeah, you know what? I think I had that recently. Like, I was trying to summon up some demons in one of my lucids.
Really?
And, yeah. It was there's this whole weird backstory to it, I guess. But I was in my childhood house when I lived in Texas, and so I was trying to call out them demons, and like the first few words that I tried to speak, they like caught in my throat, and I was just like, And
really?
I think it makes me feel like what was kind of happening, it was like I was starting to talk in my sleep or something.
Right.
But
and
I just had to like
part of your sleep
focus less on like the actual physical feeling of talking and just focus on what it would sound like, I guess. Kind of cleared it up for me. Yeah, that's really weird when that happens.
I've been wanting to tell you, dude. I told you this before, but like I'm a carpenter, you know, and when you're talking about this stuff, some people think it's more of a paranormal thing, and it's not just something that naturally happens. So when you bring up lucid dreaming, especially in a group of carpenters, some of them tend to look at you a little funny, but it doesn't keep me from talking about it. I mean, somebody starts talking about dreaming, and you know, it's something I got to talk about. I got a few cents to add, you know, because we're so excited about this, you know.
Yeah.
Well, at work there was a group of guys, and they were talking about dreaming and blah blah blah, and this guy just keeps telling me, he's like, man, you know, I just keep having these reoccurring dreams, you know. And I said, well, that's a great way to get lucid. And he's like, yeah, you know. He shakes his head, but I don't think he understood the keyword lucid. So I used it again after he kept on talking, and he goes, okay, well, what's lucid dreaming? I said, well, if you're having a reoccurring dream, and you can realize that you're dreaming, and then from there take over and try and take control, you know, after you stabilize. And he's like, well, I realize I'm dreaming, but I have such a hard time waking up out of it. And he goes, and then when I do wake up out of it, I'm stuck in my body. I can't move. I feel like I can't breathe. So I explained to him, sleep paralysis and stuff like that. But it was just great to be able to, and then everybody else got interested, And so back to his key point was, yeah, I do realize I'm dreaming. I just wake myself up. I said, why would you wake yourself up? He goes, well, I don't know. I said, well, that, next time you're there, just relax and do whatever you want to do. He's like, I can bang chicks or something? And I go, you can do whatever you want, dude. It's your mind. Power to you. And after that, you really catch the attention of the guys, obviously. And we went on talking about it forever, man. And it was just really nice to, it seems like it's not such a weird subject or weird topic anymore, as it shouldn't be. So
I think there's a lot of misconceptions about lucid dreaming, especially in our Western society and the whole Christian influence. Most people.
Yeah, that's
a lot of it was kind of
stuff is the
Buddhist
devil.
Eastern thing, but just because they found it, don't mean it's hokey pokey or whatever.
Right. Well,
But
I remember
that's
telling
why-
my grandma. I told my grandma about lucid dreaming, and she, she raised me in a Baptist church, and she goes, well, I don't know about that stuff. And I said, well, what's there to know? You're sleeping, and then you just realize that you're dreaming. That's all lucid dreaming is, Grandma. She goes, well, I'll have to talk to the pastor about that. I said, well, hang on. It's the most natural thing that could ever possibly happen to you. Why would it be bad to do it if it brings joy and ecstasy? If anything, if you want to bring it to religion, and that's God's given way to let us go about freely, instead of being confined by the restraints that everybody puts on us, But she didn't really care for that too much.
Yeah, well, I don't know. It's a weird thing. I guess people just don't have the interest, or
Right.
they think it's weird
Yeah.
or whatever. But
That's a good point. They're afraid of the unknown. Yeah.
yeah, it does take a certain amount of fearlessness to, especially starting out, because so many weird things happen. And
So many weird things to get used to.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why you got to start him off young. My son asked me, he'll be 3 years old in a couple days here, and he asked me, Dad, can I be in the podcast? I thought that was cute. I said, well, maybe after we do the recording, we'll throw you in there somewhere, saying lucid for life,
Yeah, he could tell about a dream he had or something. That'd be kinda
Yeah.
cool.
Yep.
I'd be down for that.
It's almost every day at dinner time. Well, obviously I'm working nights, so it's not so much right now, but when we sit down at the dinner table, that's the main subject for him. Have any dreams, Dad? It's pretty cool.
Well, I guess there's a few more stabilization techniques to talk about. Hand rubbing. That's like my main go-to
yeah.
stability trick right there.
I forgot about that. Yeah.
Yeah, and a lot of times, like, my wilds will start out like really unstable, and I can't see very well, and like things are just trying to form together. So I'll just start rubbing on my hands, and I'll get that just really focusing on not only the visual aspect of my hands, but also the physical feeling of rubbing my hands together really fast. And you kind of feel that friction and heat, which is really weird because you're not actually doing it, but that helps a lot to just kind of forget about, like, oh, this is jacked up over here, I can't see right, or whatever, blah, blah, blah.
Right, you're just focusing your intent on one matter at hand and not taking in everything at once.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man.
And
that's one thing I've never done. Was rub my hands. I guess I just didn't really think of it, but I do remember I was losing a dream and I went to go feel something, and it was these wooden table trays at my grandparents' house, and I went to go feel them just to help stabilize the dream. I wanted to touch something, and my hand went right through it. God damn it.
Huh.
You know, like, come on, man. I was expecting to touch it. Why didn't I?
That is weird. I'm usually opposite. But yeah, not only hand rubbing, like touching anything really helps a lot. It's that physical sensation on your hands. A lot of times I'll like feel the floor in my living room, in my dream living room, or like if I'm outside, I'll feel the concrete
and make
I mean,
out
I've
with
gone
it.
as far as making out with the ground before, but I don't know where we want to go.
That's what you're known for, dude. You're known for making sweet love to the sidewalk. I love it, man. I love listening to that on Dream Views podcast. That was hilarious.
That was purely a product of reading online somebody else's advice, and they were totally joking. But when I was in a lucid dream, that's all I could think about, and I'm like, I just don't want this dream to crash, so I just...
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. So was the sidewalk a good kisser?
Huh?
Was the sidewalk a good kisser?
It's a bit rough. Anyway, what else we got?
Well, I could share a little bit of a dream I had the other night. I have this labeled "Dead Birds for Wedding." I have a wedding that's gonna be in November, and we've been just busting our ass trying to get this set up, and so it's been on my mind. Obviously, I'm gonna dream about it quite a bit. Well, for some reason, I was in some doctor's office, and he had all these wires hooked up to these animals, and he's making these goats move and ram each other and do this and do that, and it's really awkward. Well, then he goes, well, here's the animals for your wedding, and he hooks up these wires to these pigeons and doves and all these weird birds, and he like turns them on, and they go taking off and pecking around and moving around. It was just so awkward, you know? It's just like, oh, I need to get out of here. No, thank you. I'm good on the birds, you know? But I had another one too. It's one of those where you wake up and you're like, oh man, like I really thought I had a bigger house, you know? In the dream, we were stuck in a small house, and I go, well, hang on, I remember there was a big add-on in the back of this house. We just never looked in there. And we went back there, and it was just something amazing. And it was actually when I was taking a nap, which that really helps, you know, taking naps. And I was just so excited because there was these 3 guitars that were left in there. And Chrissy said before she had woke me up, because when she wakes me up, she like just rubs my arm and asks me, "Are you dreaming? Are you dreaming?" And well, she said, "Are you dreaming?" And I go, "Yeah." And I told her about the whole dream. She goes, "Well, you could tell you were excited because your eyes were fluttering like crazy and your jaw was like moving like you were like in joy, you know, like trying to say something, you know." Because when she woke me up, in the dream, I'm going, "Yes, yes," and I'm jumping up and down, and then she wakes me up, and I'm like, "Aw." But it was still a great way to start off the day, you know.
So was this time for you to wake up anyway?
Yeah,
Oh,
it was.
okay.
Yeah,
I was like,
I just took a nap. I tried to take
looks
a nap
like he's
before
dreaming.
work,
I think
so.
I'll wake his ass up. That's what I. That'd be mean. That's rude.
Tell me about some of these lucids you've had, dude.
I can't remember. That's why I write them down. Oh, well, the demon one I had.
Oh yeah.
It didn't quite work out. They weren't there. They never showed up. So it was whatever. But
Didn't you have a triple header that one night, or wasn't there more?
hold on a second. My wife's texting me. Okay. I had a glantamine night where I had 5 lucid dreams.
Oh.
I just cannot freaking remember them. I'd have to go into my dream journal, but shit. I remember there was a sex one. there was like some weird. Oh, here's a good one. Well, shit, I can't think of it. Isn't that terrible?
While you're waiting, let's hear a word from our sponsors. Arizona half iced tea, half lemonade. You'll be great at golf if you drink an Arnold Palmer. Now in light. Batteries not included. Boop, 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 boop. I bought a new Husqvarna today.
Do what?
With a bagger on the back. 0 turn. 60-inch cut. Oh, yeah.
Do what now?
I bought a sweet new lawnmower, dude.
Oh.
Commercial grade. I just have to get it off my chest. I gotta tell somebody. Why not the world?
Oh, yeah. You know that guy from Cosmos? The new Cosmos? I don't know if you've seen it. Have you seen it yet?
I don't watch much TV.
Oh my god. That show is phenomenal, but I just love that stuff. But he showed up in my dream and I got lucid. Well, kind of after the fact, but he was still kind of an element in it. Yeah, like, so there was this little segment where I was looking at the sky, and I was looking at the stars. It was nighttime, and I'm going, because I do this a lot, because I always look up. You know, it's kind of a habit when I go outside. I just look up, but because one of my huge dream signs is when I'm looking in the sky, like this weird shit will start happening. So what I do now is when I go outside and look up, I kind of just pay real close attention to see if there was anything weird going on or anything where I'm like, wow, what is that, you know?
Yeah, that's
so
smart.
I was sort of doing that in my dream, and I'm like, if anything weird happens, I'll know it's a dream. But then,
that's
like,
awesome, man.
My vision got all weird, and like the stars like turned into like, I don't know, like these nautical looking stars, like they were drawn in the sky.
Okay.
And it was kind of flickering from normal to that, but at the same time my eyes felt weird, so I'm like, maybe my vision's just messed up, you know? And I didn't think to do a nose plug. So my vision goes black, and then I have, all of a sudden I'm in my living room, still not lucid. And I thought it was these Jehovah's Witnesses that I had to deal with the other day. I'm like, I was thinking they were back. I was like, oh man, I really don't want to mess with these people. So, but I open the door, and it's Neil Tyson and George Norrie standing there. So Neil Tyson is from the Cosmos, and George Norrie is a host on Coast to Coast AM. I don't know if anybody's familiar with that, but it's one of those weird radio shows I like to listen to once in a while. Anyway, they're there, and like George Norrie has a Bible in his hand, and I'm like, oh man. Then I'm like, surely these two, out of everyone in the world,
you said, oh man,
they wouldn't be here to tell me about Jesus or whatever. So they kind of just pushed their way in, and then they sit down, just like whatever, and I'm just kind of awestruck because I'm like, these are like two people that I really enjoy, you know, and they're like famous, and they're like in my house. I'm like, what's going on? And so they point to our bookcase, and it had the new Noah movie on it somehow. It was just kind of standing up where you could see the cover of it, and they're like, oh, they're into Noah, so we should sell this, which I don't know what he was talking about, but they were just kind of talking to each other. And then I'm like, oh man, I don't know what they're talking about. My wife was like, oh yeah, I'm interested. I want to hear about it. Well, that part ends right there, and I wake up and I try to have a dream exit induced lucid dream. I fail miserably, but then I am in a classroom at and Neil Tyson is there again, and he's teaching something. I don't know, astrophysics, who knows. And I'm sitting there going, oh, it's Neil Tyson. I should think of a really cool question to ask him because I'll probably never see him again. And I kind of draw a blank, and I just kind of space off. And then all of a sudden, now I'm like in a forest, and it's almost kind of like I'm in the show, The Cosmos, and I'm looking for dream herbs. And so
You're looking
I'm kind
for
of
a
like
what? A dreamer?
dream herbs.
Oh, a dream herb. Okay.
And so I'm following like this man, and it's kind of like, I don't know, like a past shadow, kind of like they're telling a story, and I'm just kind of following along. You know, it's weird.
Okay.
And I hear like this narrative going, and so I pull this root up, and for some reason I call it the tigress root. It's still the Bible theme. I don't know why, but so I find a way to smoke it, and I start smoking it, and like I get all like weird and floaty, and everything blacks out, and then I just feel like I'm floating. I'm going like, wow, it's really cool that I found this psychoactive drug just laying around, you know, and this weird root. It's like whatever, and
so you actually felt the high from it?
Yeah, it was really weird.
Huh.
And then I hear this narrative voice, sounds like Neil, and he's talking about Native Americans using this herb alongside peyote for dream work and divination. And he talks about how when the tribesmen are in this state, they have to navigate through the void. And so all of a sudden I become lucid. I'm like, I finally freaking get it. And it's really like my whole OBE experience going. And so I'm starting to transition, and I'm starting to get my vision and whatever. Then all of a sudden I feel this horrible rumble in my stomach, and I wake up.
What was it?
Yeah, pretty exciting. I had gas.
What? You had gas straight up?
Yeah.
And it woke you up?
Totally freaking woke me up.
Oh, man. Well, at least you didn't shit the bed.
It's pretty anticlimactic, I know, but...
we can just finish it on you shit the bed. Let's put it that way, yeah.
Yeah. I shit my
you
pants.
Speckled. And I shit my pants.
Yeah.
Well, you brought up that you smoked a dream herb, and I think that's our next subject is supplements. And you're a huge advocate when it comes to these supplements, and I try to steer clear for the most part. But then when I need a good boost, I take Hyperzine, which you sent me.
Yeah.
What do you call it? The poor man's glutamine or glutamine? How do you pronounce it?
Galantamine.
Galantamine, that's it. Yeah. Yeah, you've had a lot of experience with this stuff. And I tell you what, it's hit and miss for me. I think as long as my intent is right with supplements, it does really help. At least by, fivefold, I'd have to say. And whether, to me, it's whether it's, proven 100% with everybody or not, either way, a placebo is a placebo. If you're, taking something and you really believe it's going to work, it's going to help you, and firsthand that it does wonders for you. For me, it being hit and miss, I just have to make sure that I set my intention and my will to what I want to accomplish.
I think there's something to the whole placebo thing. But if you're not proficient in lucid dreaming, the supplements might give you vivid dreams, but it won't help you get lucid, I guess.
Right. Okay, yeah.
So I feel like should probably get good at lucid dreaming without the supplements first, and then later on start using the supplements to increase your frequency.
Okay.
Some people might disagree with that. They feel like supplements all together are bad, but I mean it's whatever's best for you,
Well, I have no problem with them as long as they're natural supplements. You're not like, well, you smoke a little crack before bed, you're gonna have some great lucid dreams. It's like, well, let's not go to crack. But no,
Yeah.
glutamine and hyperzine are natural things that are found in your body, isn't it?
Not exactly. They're taken from herbs. I guess.
Oh, okay, they're extracts.
I want to say glantamine was tiger lily, but it is. I think it is considered an actual drug.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know.
Drugs are bad. Okay.
But it's safe.
The Mayans used to smoke, what's that? Salvia.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just kidding. Don't mess with that. Don't try this at home. Or at the park.
So, well, I guess since we're talking about glantamine, we'll start with glantamine. And huperzine A, I believe, is the actual word for that. So glantamine is glantamine, and huperzine is just it's kind of like a cheaper substitute to glantamine because glantamine's not available to everybody. Some countries it's illegal, I guess. Originally, it was used for Alzheimer's patients.
Oh, yeah.
So
okay.
Yeah, and I think they use a much higher dosage than we use
Right.
for lucid dreaming.
Than what you're using. Yeah. Now, how often do you take that? Because I think you were going on and off, aren't you?
Yeah, you'll build a tolerance to it. So, I found for me 3 to 7 days is usually what I do.
I
7
know
days is probably the best.
a few times you're like, you get excited in the text messages that we share. You're like, tonight's glutamine night, tonight's G night. It's like, all right,
Yeah.
cool. Let me know how it goes, buddy. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, for me, see, glantamine don't always work for everybody. I've read a lot online. They're like, yeah, I kind of had some dreams, but didn't really do much. And by the way, I should say that all the lucid dreaming supplements I take during awake back to bed. So I'll get 4, 5, 6 hours of just normal sleep. Then I'll wake up, take a supplement, and just head straight back to bed, do my inductions.
Now, remember that night I took that hyperzine before I went to bed, though?
Yeah, see,
it seems like it works as well if you take it before bed, but you seem to have a lot more luck taking it on your wake back to bed.
yeah, and for you, taking it before bed might be the best way to do it.
Right. Different for everybody, is what you're
Yeah.
saying. Cool.
But I guess if nobody's heard of it yet, they should check out Thomas Ushak's book. I probably said
Say
that
that
wrong,
again?
but Ushak's?
Can you
Yeah,
spell
anyway,
that
it's
backwards for us, please?
No. It's what's the name of it? Advanced Lucid Dreaming: The Power of Supplements. I believe that's the name of it. You just do a Google search and you can find it pretty easy. But he goes into depth talking about glantamine and how it actually works and all that stuff. So anybody interested in glantamine, they should probably read that first, just to be smart.
Oh yeah.
But basically, it there is a chemical in your brain called acetylcholine, and it blocks your brain from using up that chemical, so it creates an excess of acetylcholine in your brain, and acetylcholine increases dreaming and vividness. So on top of
Sweet.
that, you can take a supplement called choline or alpha
Choline,
GPC, and that just further increases the acetylcholine in your brain. And for me, it's just like the best of all of them. Pretty much guaranteed multiple lucids in the
The
morning.
choline,
so,
you say?
yeah. Well, combined with galantamine, yeah.
Right. Okay.
But yeah, I'm not trying to get real technical because I'll fuck it up, I'm sure. But That's just the basic how it works.
Well, there's quite a few other ones. I wanted to go with some of the natural supplements for a second. Like we've both used caffeine, which seems to work great on wake backs to beds, you know. And caffeine, a lot of people don't realize, but it is a drug. It's a stimulant, and it can really help obtain lucidity on wake back to beds. And if you wake up 4 to 6 hours after sleep, and you want to do something to get your, not necessarily your heart rate up, but at least moving a little bit, so that way you're consciously aware of your surroundings now. You know, you need to kind of, don't come all the way out of the dream state, but enough to where when you lay back down for your wake back to bed, you're not going to just pass right out. And there's where the caffeine comes in. I'll drink, a couple shots of cold coffee. A lot of people can't stand it, but I don't mind it. A couple shots of cold coffee or half cup. And it just keeps me alert enough to not fall asleep and let my body fall asleep, but not too much where, my body's wanting to, do backflips. So, and I know you've went a lot further in depth with this on Dream Views. You even started your own little blog where people were putting how many milligrams they would take, and it seemed like it had a great success.
Yeah. Actually, if you search using caffeine as a trigger on Dream Views, you'll find my thread in the research section. Yeah, when I first started it, I'd do a wake back to bed, chug some coffee, go back to bed, and like for about 2 weeks, it was 100% effective for me. Since then, it's kind of hit and miss. I think a lot of it depends on how tolerant you are to caffeine, how much you drink during the day and all that stuff. Really, there's an actual, I thought I was the first one to think of this, but there's actually other people that they'll actually deprive themselves of caffeine for a whole day and then do a wake back to bed and just take a small amount, and that seems to work better. But yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I did the caffeine trick, and I had a triple banger where it was back to back. And I had one. I don't know. I had a really beautiful scenery while I was doing caffeine. Everything was so vivid. I really enjoyed my caffeine wake back to bed lucids. Another natural one is you've tried, but I have never tried it, and I don't remember how well it worked for you. Is peppermint?
Yes, or well, menthol in general, but I prefer peppermint tea. Yep.
Okay.
And there's somebody else has a thread titled "Menthol as a Dream Enhancer" on Dream Views. It's another good one to check it out. It's huge. It's really, really huge to sort through all that. But
yeah, people are really, really big into this peppermint thing, which I really am just, all for, because it's all natural. It's not even a drug. The sugar can be a bit of a stimulant depending on if you're going to use like some type of menthol candy or steer clear of the menthol cigarettes, obviously. But
and nicotine is considered another one, but I haven't personally tried that.
Right. We talked about the patches because everybody's so wild about how vivid and crazy the dreams are on these patches.
Yeah. That's not recommended, though.
No.
I had thought about it. I was going to do it, but I'm like, I have all this other stuff that works great for me. There's no sense in
we should
potentially getting addicted again. So
right. We need to try like heroin patches first.
Oh yeah.
And then we'll work our way up to nicotine patches. I'll take 3 morphine patches, please. I'm gonna have a lucid dream tonight.
Give me a meth patch while you're at it. But so peppermint tea is awesome, and I've taken it by itself, but I really enjoy combining that one with galantamine or some of the other herbs that we haven't talked about yet, which I guess we could go into that.
Herbs.
Mugwort.
Not like marijuana. Not the marijuana herb.
Yeah, that actually...
I mean, some people claim that it helps them. But I am 110% hands down worst recall in my life if I smoke marijuana.
Yeah, I've heard that a lot too. Well, read about it a lot online. But...
Yes. And, everybody's different, man. But, I'm telling you, sometimes I just want to disagree with some of the people that say, oh, no, my recall is just fine. Because I don't know. You don't read it too much to where they're like, oh, yeah, I smoke all the time and I get good recall. But it's like, well, if you get good recall, try and quit and then tell me how bad your recall used to be, But
yeah,
like I said, I don't want to piss anybody off, so we don't need a bunch of comments from the stoners. If you guys are lucid dreaming while you're smoking, more power to you. Wish I could, but there's no way. My recall just gets shot.
Yeah, that
so
just
stay
goes
away
back to... Oh, sorry.
No, I was just going to say, just try and steer clear of it, I mean, that's my advice, but I have nothing against it. But if you're trying to lucid dream, just keep it in mind, I
mean, that just goes back to, different things affect people in different ways, so...
Right.
It's all, it's all how it works for you, I guess.
Right.
I hadn't done that since high school. So.
I heard a comedian say once for alcohol, he actually brought up the fact, how alcohol, you drink alcohol, you don't dream, it suppresses your REM, which it's not true. You still dream, but it might not be as vivid, or you're less likely to become lucid. He said it's almost like your brain, you're having so much fun with your brain right now by drinking or smoking that your brain's like, all right, you had enough fun. It's time to rest, So if you're using these drugs during the day, your brain needs it to rest at night, So you can't have a good time while you're sleeping if you're having a good time while you're awake. If that it all makes sense.
Well, that's actually, I was going to talk about that in a second with when we get to REM suppressants, but
okay.
It actually does suppress your REM. And of course it depends on how much you've had, but I've gotten lucid after a night of drinking, but way late in the morning, and I'm just having all this massive amount of dreaming. So it seems to me like there's a REM rebound after a night of drinking, but
right. So anyway, I didn't mean to trail off. You were going to talk about herbs?
Yeah, so mugwort and wormwood both contain thujone, which there seems to be some argument about whether or not thujone is actually psychoactive or mind-altering or whatever. But there's something in those two herbs that helps me have way more vivid dreams. So that dream I told you about was actually a combination of mugwort, wormwood, and peppermint. And actually had another lucid that night that was a little bit better than that one, but yeah.
Well, of course you did.
seemed like a pretty good combo for me. And I gotta warn you, wormwood tastes like
sounds.
The most bitter thing you can imagine. So you might want to. Did I say wormwood or mugwort? Yes. Wormwood's the bitter one. Mugwort is not as bad. It's actually pretty palatable.
They both sound disgusting, though. You do realize that?
Yeah.
What would you rather have, mugwort or woodworm? It's like, can I just have the dirt?
I think
the dirt covered shit
and the piss water.
Right.
Really good.
Oh, the piss water. I need a chaser of piss water, please.
Yeah, I wouldn't drink that for any other reason other than trying to get lucid.
Right.
It's not.
I like all the natural. I forget what they call them. Earl Grey makes a lot of them. They're like black tea. I like black tea. Your earthy teas. That's what they call them. So I think that would be right up my alley, a bitter tea like that.
Yeah.
Although I've never tried it.
I don't know. Well, it's got a little bit of caffeine in it, I think.
It's always good.
Yeah. Oh yeah, there's another herb I tried. I'm gonna try real hard to say this. Kalia Zacatachichi, I believe.
Sounds like a Chinese stripper.
Have you heard of that? It's from Mexico.
Oh, I was a little off.
I just call it Kalia Z. Just type in Kalia Z and search, and you'll see it. But
have you used this before? Because I've never heard of it.
I can't remember if I made a tea out of it or if I put it in capsule form. I think I tried both, but I didn't have very good success with it.
You snort it or take it anally?
Yeah, anally.
Oh yeah.
No.
Some pouches.
Orally. But
oh yeah. Your wife help you?
Yeah.
Hey honey, I really want to have a lucid dream. Could you please?
But
just kidding, folks. Don't try that at home.
Whatever works.
Sorry, Mike. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Anyway, Kalia Z, I think I got lucid the first time I tried it, and it might have been a placebo thing because I was really excited and it was unknown and whatever.
Yeah.
But it didn't work for me after that, so I didn't order anymore.
Okay.
But
yeah.
Some people say it works great. Not so much for me.
Yeah, when you go to take anything, you need to just expect to get lucid and have high hopes and strong faith about it, because whether these things really are a life changer or a game changer when it comes to lucid dreaming, if you keep that expectation high and your willpower high, your chances are through the roof compared to if you just take it and hope and go to bed. Just focus and relax and enjoy your night.
Right. And the rule of thumb, always take the smallest effective dose. If
right,
you don't want to go crazy on it. You don't want to, because you can make yourself sick on a lot of these things if you take too much.
Right.
Yeah. So be smart, basically.
Consult your family physician before use.
Yeah. Disclaimer. Disclaimer. Anyway, so we're getting close to an hour. There's a few more. Oh, B6 works well. I've gotten lucid off that. I like to combine it with caffeine too.
So is this a vitamin, tea,
vitamin
capsule form? Oh, okay.
Yeah, or actually B6, B12. So take a B vitamin complex maybe. I usually just take B6, but
yep,
seems to increase vividness in dreams. There's also the amino acid blend by Ushak or Suck Dick or what's his name? I forgot. So the amino acid blend. That joke failed, by the way. I'm glad you laughed. You still there?
Yeah. Sorry, buddy.
Okay. You got totally quiet on me.
Oh yeah.
I made a joke and you didn't laugh.
Oh, dude, I didn't. I'm having a hard time hearing through these headset.
Turn it up.
Sorry. Here, can I laugh still? Sorry.
Yeah, it was funny, wasn't it? So the amino acid blend is 200 milligrams of L-aspartic acid, 4,000 milligrams of L-glutamine, and 300 milligrams of L-theanine.
Okay.
It's sounds like a crazy concoction.
I was gonna say you're making it sound pretty potent.
Yeah, well, it's just amino acids. You'll have to find all that crap online. Well, most of it, I think. But it works. It works actually pretty well for me.
Okay.
I have no idea how it works, so all I can say is there it is. Try it if you want.
I think works best.
Also melatonin.
Melatonin, yes.
I used to think of it as a REM suppressant, but seems like it's not.
Melatonin's a great one. It's really, really good, especially if you don't use it often and you're trying to get to sleep. I take a couple melatonins, like 20 milligrams or so, and I'm good to go. And I don't use it very often, so when I do take it, it puts me right out, and I love it.
Yeah, I like to take it before bed for
right, pre-bed,
just to help me sleep. But it definitely increases your dreams, so vividness and whatnot.
The business.
So that's really all I had. I didn't talk about REM suppressors yet.
We haven't done suppressors. We hit a few of them. I just wanted to say, make sure you're getting your sleep. No matter what you do, you need to get some sleep. It doesn't matter how many supplements you want to take or how hard you want to try. You need to get your sleep.
Right. Yeah, I won't even, if I'm too tired, I won't even deal with wake back to bed or supplements or anything.
Right. Why waste your glutamine when, you're less likely to become lucid. So.
Right. Yep.
Yeah, so we hit marijuana and alcohol as suppressants. What else we got for suppressants? Remember when I was drinking all them energy drinks and my recall went down, and we figured that's probably why, because I'm getting way too many B vitamins and caffeine?
I was thinking more of the caffeine, yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, and you had me cut down to just one a day and no more, what'd you say, after 2 or something like that? Somewhere later afternoon or something like that. Yeah. So I once I stopped, I started recalling a lot more dreams. So,
which is weird that we use that to get lucid in the middle of the night, but
right.
Yeah, but I found that if I have too much during the day, it's like has the opposite effect, I guess.
Right. It's almost like your mind needs a break. Your brain needs to relax, so you're less. It's suppressing it. It almost makes sense, but then when you're on it, it helps you're alert and focused. So as long as you're not coming down from the caffeine, it makes more sense to take it and be on a buzz when you're trying to, have a lucid dream. So
yeah.
So too much caffeine is going to be a suppressant before bed. What's another one, Mike?
Well, I just wanted to mention before you take galantamine, it's suggested that you take 5-HTP before bed, so that it's
pre-bed.
You want to suppress your REM in the first half of the night and get that deep restorative sleep, and then do all your dreaming the second half of the night. It's just really to try to balance you out. I don't use it anymore, but I do notice that I feel a little bit more tired. Maybe that's why, I don't know. But also, 5-HTP is kind of expensive. St. John's wort also works pretty much the same way.
Yes, I like St. John's wort, all natural.
Yeah, and those can be used alone. Just take it before bed, and then hopefully you'll get that REM boost later. A lot of people have gotten lucid that way.
Absolutely.
But yeah, that was really all I had that I've tried personally.
I just thought of another stabilization. You said rub in your hand. Some people clap.
Oh yeah, I've done that too. Yeah.
I forgot about the clap. Yeah.
Well, yeah, we kind of got away from that little.
I know. I just had to throw it in there. I thought of it. Had to throw it in there, bro.
Yeah, and there's like a whole bunch of more stabilization techniques on there. Really, I think what it boils down to.
We're both firm believers of Dreamviews, so go to dreamviews.com. They got everything.
And really, that's a good source for information there. But I mean, really, what I feel like stabilization all boils down to is you have that moment, you're like, oh, this is a crappy dream, it's unstable, I might wake up. You just kind of shift your focus from that negative aspect to just something in the dream.
Absolutely.
Whether it's all visual or physical sensation or spinning. We didn't talk about that, but just anything to move the dream forward. Don't just sit there idly going, "Oh, this sucks." It's kind of a proactive approach, I guess. Just kind of anchors you in. That's really basically all stabilization is, in my opinion.
Yeah, I would just say stay relaxed. Stay relaxed and keep trying. You know, you ain't gonna get it your first time. I shouldn't say that. I take that back right off the bat. You can get it your first time. You will get it your first time. Don't expect not to get it your first time. Just remember to stay relaxed.
Yeah, dreaming's a lot about expectation and beliefs.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
So,
huge. Yeah. It's all in your head.
Just always stay positive.
Absolutely. And stay excited. Stay excited about lucid dreaming. Sometimes it's hard, you know, especially for me right now, working 70 hours plus a week, you know, trying to manage a family. Sometimes even just doing a simple reality check just seems like such a feat. But why not? You know, that way tonight I can have a lucid dream. You know, you got to stay excited. You got to keep talking to people about it. Do the buddy system like me and Mike got. You know, find yourself a buddy who enjoys doing this. Get them excited about it. Ask them about their dreams. You know, listen to them. Stay attentive. You know, have fun with it. Give yourself goals, you know. Write down on a piece of paper what you want to do, what you expect. You know, it's just, this stuff is just so exciting, Mike. I'm really happy we're doing this podcast. Because I tell you what, last time I had a lucid dream, what was it, night or 2 nights after we had this?
Yeah.
Maybe I can take a nap before work.
Hell yeah. Go for it.
Hell yeah. Well, Mike, I love you, buddy. I'm glad we got to do it this week. Hopefully in a couple more weeks we can get back together, huh?
Yeah, hopefully it won't be so long next time.
Yeah.
The few listeners we have, I don't know. Hopefully you guys are hanging in there.
Big shout out to the few listeners we have. We love you.
Actually, and we would love for you to email us too at lucidforlife@mail.com if you have questions or suggestions. Or just tell us, hey, we're actually listening.
Or
that would be like gold to us.
We're accepting profanity too. If you guys want to bash us or whatever, you know, if it's a good one, we'll bring it up.
Yeah,
but
sure.
I don't want to hear no poo-poo head stuff. You know, save that for the 12-year-olds. We want to hear some good banner.
Why not?
Or not. Whatever.
All right, I think that's all we got then, huh?
That's a wrap, baby.
All right.
Until next time, this is Lucid for Life.
Take care, everybody.
Get the fuck out.